In this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 Keepa mistakes that Amazon FBA sellers make. Now, if you don't know what Keepa is, real quickly, Keepa is a tool that tracks the pricing history, sales rank history, and a whole lot of other history information for almost every single item on Amazon. So you can use Keepa to look in the past, to look at what happened with sales and history, sales rank, and pricing, to better predict the future sales rank, history, pricing. So people use this tool a lot to make better sourcing decisions, and so do I. But in this video, I'll break down the 10 mistakes that people make with Keepa. So let's get right to it. The first mistake is the biggest one: not using Keepa. Why would you not use Keepa? Why would you just look at today's sales rank and today's price and assume it's going to stay the same? Prices change all the time on Amazon. Sales ranks are updated once an hour. So it's going to change. So look in the past to predict the future with Keepa. Second mistake people do is thinking that the price line or the pricing information means sales, and it does not. So when you're looking at a Keepa graph and you see that the low price at a certain point was $27, that doesn't mean that means that an item was sold at that point for $27. It just means that was the lowest price information at that particular time. And so if you see an artificially high price, don't just assume that it actually sold at that price. It might not have sold at that price. To get a better idea of what actually might have sold, I would turn on the buy box. So you turn on the buy box information, it puts a little diamond on the screen so you can see what the buy box was. Since over 80% of sales on Amazon come from the buy box, most likely that was the price that the item sold for. And again, it doesn't guarantee you that an item sold at that particular price. That's just the most likely possibility. All right, the third mistake is thinking that spaces between the buy box mean no sales. If you look at a Keepa graph and you see there's a big space here between these two buy box prices, maybe was there not a buy box at that particular time? No, just Keepa goes in every once in a while to find the buy box information. They're always updating the pricing information, but they only go gather the buy box information every now and then. So if you see throughout the Keepa graph consistent buy box information, then you know that there is a buy box. That's just what it was at different times. Now, if you happen to see a Keepa graph with a lot of consistent buy box diamonds, and then all of a sudden there's nothing for a long time, then that might be a time where there's not a buy box. But just because there's a space on the graph doesn't mean that there wasn't a buy box at that time. Mistake number 4, not looking at historical data. Now, Keepa graphs offer a really cool thing called historical data. And you can see right here, this Keepa graph, we can see the price, we can see the sales rank. If you look at historical data, you might get some information like, whoa, this is the information about the number of new offers, new items that are being sold by the competitors of this particular item. And I can see over time that competition is getting kind of heavy. There's a huge amount of supply continuing to come to Amazon. And if you know anything about supply and demand, when supply goes up and demand's not there to meet it, prices will go down. So you can see that in the Keepa graph. You can see that as supply went up, the prices were going down. So you might not want to go deep on this item because most likely supply is continuing to go up and prices are going to continue to go down. So not looking at the historical information is a huge mistake people make when they're using Keepa. Another thing that they might do, it's a big mistake, is not using the statistics graph. If you hover over this little link here, statistics, it gives you a lot of information summarized and averaged. And so you can see the average prices for different conditions. You can see the historical low, the historical high, but the biggest piece of information is the average of sales rank. So instead of just looking at today's sales rank and trying to eye the chart and figure out what the average might be, it will tell you that the last 90 days, this particular toy averaged 49,801. And then the last 180 days, it averaged 52,757. So good information for you to have right there at a quick glance, telling you the average sales rank over time, which will help you make a better sourcing decision. Another mistake people make is not looking further back into time. Keepa automatically, by default, shows you the last 3 months of a particular item. And most decisions can be made pretty well just looking at the history of the last 3 months. But check out this one. This is a seasonal item. It's a Barbie Valentine Special doll. And we see that this sells pretty occasionally. But if you want to take a look at further, we can look at the timing of this graph and look at the last year. Another little trick that a lot of people don't know is that you can zoom in on a Keepa graph. Hold your cursor, drag it, you can zoom in. And so this is January and February leading up to Valentine's Day, so this is selling a whole lot more consistently at this time. So this might be something that, it might not be something you would buy to expect to sell quickly, but you know probably January or February this item is going to sell. So not looking further back into time is a mistake that a lot of people make. Another mistake people make is assuming if they see a Keepa graph and there's no information, that means there's no information to get and there's no sales. That's not always true. You can actually go take a look at the product page of an item, go through and look at their reviews, and if they've had recent reviews, that means they've had recent sales. So if they've got like 500 reviews and they're all from 2010, then that's not recent sales. But if you see a lot of recent reviews, that means recent sales. Maybe Keepa just hasn't started tracking information. They track almost every item on Amazon, but not all of them. There's some of them that they haven't found yet, or someone's never requested information for those items. So they're not tracking that information yet. But so if you don't see that information, you can quickly go check the reviews. And if you see recent reviews, that means recent sales. Another mistake some people do, and this is an accidental mistake, sometimes people accidentally switch the way the sales rank graph is shown. And so if they look at a Keepa graph and they see a graph like this, and like, wait, that looks really weird. Why is that? Well, it might be because you've accidentally clicked this little button here, and which inverts the Keepa graph for sales rank. And so if you ever look at a Keepa graph and it looks really strange, that's why. It's just because that's been inverted. Okay. Another mistake that people make: people assuming that anytime there's a little drop in sales rank, it means there's a sale, because it's pretty true. Anytime the sales rank goes from a high number to a low number means at least one sale, but it needs to be a significant and a steep drop. Just because the sales rank goes up and it goes down a little bit does not mean a sale. So look at this graph. Just because the sales rank goes up and then down, the times the sales rank goes down, these are not sales. The time where the sales rank significantly drops, like a straight line, like a cliff, like the edge of a cliff, that's a sale. That's a sale. This is a sale. But all these up here, these are not sales. These are just market fluctuations. More items coming into the Amazon catalog, other items leaving the Amazon catalog. And so it's just, these are just kind of the way that the Amazon sales rank works. And those are not sales. It's the steep drops that are sales. Unless it's like under 100,000 or like within the top half percentage of that particular sales rank category number. And so the closer you get to 1, then you might see some sales that are up like, that. But if you find like a 4-digit sales rank, most likely it's going to be selling very often. And then the last mistake that a lot of people make is ignoring the variation warning, the parent-child warning. I mean, Keepa tries to warn you, but you can see on this Keepa graph, man, there's consistent sales a lot. The price stays really consistent. But there's this little warning down here. Sales rank history is of a parent ASIN and not of this specific variation. So if you work with items that have parents and child's variations, like, there's a shirt, and like we'll talk about like a polo shirt, and that polo shirt has red size large, size extra large, size medium, and blue size large and extra large and medium. The polo shirt is the main parent ASIN. Each individual variation of color and size has their own child ASIN. And so this Keepa graph is telling you, this graph is showing you the sales rank information from the parent ASIN. It cannot break up the child ASINs and give you individual sales ranks for the individual ASINs. And so just know that the sales rank you're looking at is for the parent information. And if there's a low number of variations, then it's a lot stronger to expect that you'll get a sale pretty soon. But if there's a big number of variations, then you might not be able to, know for sure whether or not your variation is going to sell. So when you're outsourcing. And a really quick way to know how many variations there are, on the Keepa graph, you can click the variations tab, and it goes through and it says it's displaying 146 rows. So there's 146 variations of this particular shoe. So anytime there's a sales here, it's one of 146 different variations. That many variations I shy away from trying to sell. I want a lower number of variations. Anywhere under 20 maybe I might be interested in. Sometimes I'll go a little bit further, a little bit higher, but you learn what your comfort zones are when it comes to variations. So those are 10 Keepa mistakes that a lot of people make that hopefully you can learn from and not make those mistakes, which will help you make better, smarter sourcing decisions. If you want more information about making better sourcing decisions, better pricing decisions, I have a course called The Reseller's Guide to Keepa, which breaks down all of the stuff that you've seen in this video walkthrough and more of how to use Keepa to make smarter sourcing decisions. You can go to fulltimefba.com/Keepa course, and I'll walk you through. You can see a video preview about the course. There's 5 hours of laser-focused training about how to use Keepa, because what I showed you here is just scratching the surface about what is possible with Keepa. With this course, you'll be able to make more in sales. Your inventory items will sell faster. It will the inventory items that you buy will hold their prices and not tank in price, because you're not going to make bad buying decisions anymore. And you'll have more funds to make better sourcing decisions. And so it's going to help grow your Amazon business, grow your profits, and help you find more success with your Amazon FBA business. Again, fulltimefba.com/Keepa course to learn more about that. Well, that's it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I look forward to seeing you at fulltimefba.com/Keepa course. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment if you have a question, and be sure to subscribe to the blog, fulltimefba.com. That's where we give out all of our information, blog posts, video walkthroughs, free ebooks, coupon codes, stuff that will help you in your Amazon FBA business, reviews of stuff Amazon FBA related. We do all that right there at the blog, fulltimefba.com. I'll see you there. Have a great day, everybody. God bless. Bye.